Give yourself a break. Relax.
Relax. Relax.
You don't understand how hard I have to push myself to be the best!
I can't keep watching you do this.
I'm just gonna go to the bathroom.
Laura and Isabelle, Jeff in Las Vegas, good morning.
Good morning.
Man, I watched this last night. What an excellent thriller. What a great drama. I mean, congratulations. It's just so impressive. I really enjoyed it.
Thank you.
Well, Isabelle, the world of college rowing, for someone who grew up in the Southwest, this has been just a fascinating look into this sport because it just seems so foreign to me. And the research you must have done on this movie, because it's just a whole world, isn't it?
Yeah, everyone thinks it's mostly arms, but it's actually 70% legs and 67% legs, 30% back, and then the rest is arms. So if anyone can take anything away from this, it's taking away that arms, body, legs, and focus on your legs when you're in the erg in the gym. Because nothing pains me more than to walk into a gym and see someone doing it wrong and just have to walk on right by and let it be. So
absolutely,
glad I could help.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't know anything about rowing prior to this movie other than like seeing it in the Social Network and I guess maybe watching it on the Olympics, but I never really paid any attention to it. And when I read the script, much like the audience, reading the script, I was fascinated and intrigued and interested in the sport and really loved the story, was really passionate about it, taped audition, wrote a letter to Lauren. And then once she cast me, that was when my full immersion really started. I was immediately put in rowing classes and was starting to wake up at 4:30 in the morning and would drive to Marina del Rey and row for 6 hours and every single day for the 6 weeks leading up to our shoot. And so I really dove into the world head first of rowing and really got to fall in love with the sport. We had this very hot and heavy, fast-paced romance, me, Isabelle, with rowing, and Alex has this really kind of I would say more of a slow build and then toxic relationship downward spiral. But I really felt like I got to live and breathe this world, and almost to the point where I was I was going on Reddit and looking at rowing memes. I still have a ton of them saved on my phone. I really got involved. You start to realize how beautiful the sport is, and at the same time how incredibly masochistic and painful it is, and so then you just can't do anything but laugh about it as you're in immense physical pain and your hands are bleeding.
Lauren, boats cost $50,000. All the new terms I'm learning, this long tradition in rowing. Where did you find the setting for this movie?
I was a collegiate rower myself. I grew up in a small podunk redneck town. I had no idea what rowing was either. And I got a flyer in the mail one day that was walk onto your novice rowing team, no experience required. And it seemed more challenging to me than an intramural. So I did it. And I've always been kind of drawn to the water. And what was basically a whim became a 4-year obsession for me. We were practicing 20 hours a week, 2 days for 4 years. I woke up every day at 5 a.m. And I wanted to really channel kind of that 4 years. I took 4 years of my rowing experience and 10 years of coming of age and compressed it down into this film. And it's when doing my debut feature too. It's always this cliche of write what you know and the story that only you could tell. And I had yet to see. There's a brilliant scene in The Social Network, but aside from that, I had not seen. I wanted to put rowing on the screen in the way that I felt it. And this film is very much. It's not an objective, classical, inspirational sports film. It is the subjective experience of rowing, of the light and the dark, the love and the hate. And I try to capture all of that in this.
Yeah, so you are Alex. So write what you know. What a journey. There's a little embellishment, I'm sure, in there, but man, I applaud you for that, because I couldn't even get up to go to the gym, and you're getting up at 5 a.m. and learning to row. And what an incredible determination and discipline you had.
Yeah, character building, as they say, don't regret it, but kind of like Isabelle, when I graduated, I basically never did it again. And I'm not sure if I ever really will. I dabbled a little bit when I was researching the writing for this, but it's a brutal 4 years. It was very brutal.
Isabelle, Alex is determined to be the best at rowing, going way beyond what her coaches tell her. Is she stubborn or just reckless?
I think she just lives in her own world. I think that it's a combination probably of the two. I don't think it's necessarily stubbornness. It's more so that like, I don't think people hear things unless they're ready to listen to them. And I think if everyone's telling you you're doing a great job and you feel like they're applauding your mediocrity, there's nothing more painful and more upsetting. And I think that to Alex, it's really like people don't understand her. And I think she's actually comfortable in that place at times where people don't understand her. She's very individualistic. She's really on her own sort of path. And really, it's not like she's throwing people out of her way and crashing and burning everything around her. She's really kind of on this streak of self-implosion. And it's really until it goes too far that she even starts to realize that maybe she should, take a step back and
But for a team sport, she acts like she's doing it alone. She's always processing. She can never turn it off. She demands perfection. As we said earlier, her hands are open wounds.
Yeah, no, and I think very much emotionally too. Like Alex as a character, I think very much is like an open wound. Like I would say an open scab, not anything like super deep, but if you pick at it too much, it's gonna bleed again over and over and over and over again. And rowing is a team sport. What's interesting in Alex and what I also personally experienced rowing is, if we watch the movie, you see her truly excel in her time when she spends on the water alone in that single scull. And I spent a lot of time training in the 6 weeks leading up to the movie in a single. I spent very little time in an 8 and very little time in a 4. And what was interesting to me is like when I came on set and I was put in an 8, I had been in one before, but it was the first time I was really rowing all day in an 8. And it really kind of changed my perspective of how far I had gone as an athlete. I felt like I had really kind of excelled and mastered the sport in a certain respect and felt really comfortable. And then I was really kind of taken back to being like, oh, wow, you really have a long way to go. And what I actually loved about that and felt was so good to put into Alex's character is that, it's true. She does kind of have this, solo sort of battle. She's always processing. She's in her own sort of world. And so really where she thrives and feels most comfortable is in that single, in her own world, where she is entirely in control of her own boat. And I thought that was a really cool thing that I noticed when I was, filming the movie, and something that I even see in the performance too. And I really feel like that just was something that came naturally. It was not something that I set out to discover. It was something that just kind of came to me while we were working on the film. And I think that like that moment, with the foggy row and she's out there alone, it's like when you really have this moment as an audience member to be like, wow, she's really doing great. And that's when we're still on her side as her hero in this story is like really shining right before she also becomes the villain in her own story.
And Lauren, I love the images you use in the film with the ravens and the crabs, inside of her mind, all those flash frames in there. And also, I've been rowing the wrong way my whole life, legs, back, arms. So thanks for teaching me that, because no wonder I don't lose weight or get in shape. I've been using my arms the whole time.
Yeah, everyone thinks it's mostly arms, but it's actually 70% legs and 67% legs, 30% back, and then the rest is arms. So if anyone can take anything away from this, it's take away that arms, body, legs, and focus on your legs when you're in the erg in the gym, because nothing pains me more than to walk into a gym and see someone doing it wrong and just have to walk on right by and let it be. So
absolutely,
glad I could help.
And I love the soundtrack and your choice of music in this movie. It is just wonderful choices, and it really accentuates the story too. So, both of you, thank you so much for joining today. I love discovering a film here late in the year that is just fantastic. So congratulations. I wish you the best of luck, and let's talk again soon.
Thank you
Thanks
so
much, Jeffrey. I like your background.
Thank you very much. Look at this. She's just an amazing feat. Congratulations. But I'm so impressed with both of you. So.